Alrighty, good morning, 1 million cuppers. How are we doing this fine Wednesday? Wow, look at this beautiful crowd. Can I get a woo? Okay, yeah, we're waking up this morning. My name is Jordan Weichel. I'm with No Brains, No Headache, and I'm going to be your MC today for another edition of 1 Million Cups here at the fine Dakota Stage Theater. We have any first-timers here today? All right, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here at 1 Million Cups. You're probably asking yourself, what are we doing here? What's going on at Dakota Stage Theater this morning? Well, 1 Million Cups, it's our weekly program that we do here every single Wednesday. And we invite an entrepreneur or an event planner or some sort of community organizer. They come up on stage, they share their idea, their business plan, and then we heckle them afterwards. No, we engage with them. There's a Q&A at the end. They get to talk about their business. I've presented up here twice. It helps a lot to just kind of talk about what your ideas are in an open forum like this. So we're here every Wednesday, and once again, thank you to our first-timers for being here. Our big takeaway is, can we change the face of our community by connecting with each other over 1 million cups of coffee? I'm not really sure what the count is at now, but we're doing it. Everyone today is chipping in. They're doing their part just with that 1 cup of coffee. So if you didn't get a mug, make sure you grab a mug, get your sticker. You know, we take attendance every week. We're pretty strict about that. You're not allowed to come back unless you come every week for the rest of the year. So we have sponsors to help us with this, so thank you to our sponsors. We appreciate them for their help. If you see a sponsor, make sure you give them a big old hug, a pat on the back, maybe buy them lunch. I don't know, do whatever you feel is necessary. We got another page, and we even have a third page of sponsors. We're always open to sponsors, so if you feel the need to give back, whether that's time, money, resources, equipment, what have you, you're more than welcome to join the sponsors, the lovely sponsors. So thank you to them for helping us out with our weekly program here. At the end, like I mentioned, we'll have a Q&A session. So as our presenter is up today, make sure you're thinking of those questions, get them in a timely manner. Ross, you're going to run the mic for me today? Of course you are. You're terrific at that. So we got Ross on the mic. He's going to run around with this big old orange microphone mug thing, and you can ask a question. Hello to those on our live stream on YouTube. You can also ask questions on there. The tech crew, who does a great job every week, will get that to me up here, and we will be able to ask those questions. So make sure you're thinking about questions or even just some feedback, and let us know. We'll make sure that your voice is heard at one point. Community announcements. Every week we give everybody an opportunity to announce something they got going on in the community, and of course it always starts with the National Day. It is National U.S. Bowling League Day. So I guess we should probably join a bowling league as a result and hit the lanes. Make sure you go hit up the bowling alley and join a bowling league so you can celebrate on September 3rd. It's also, I looked it up, and I got to see here that it's also another national day. It's also National Welsh Rarebit Day, which also makes it National I have no idea what that is day. Just kidding. It's a British dish, so we could probably just discard that since we're in America. Toasted bread topped with a savory melted cheese sauce, often flavored with ale, mustard, and Worcestershire sauce. So go make some Welsh rarebit and hit the bowling alley. That's what we're going to do today after we're done here. What else do we got? Anybody for the endless possibilities announcement? Otherwise, I just gotta wing it, and I suppose that's it. All right, I will stand in for Tyler. It's part of the job as MC. That's why they pay me the big bucks. September is library card sign-up month, according to the slide. So head on over to the library. Yeah, there we go. Endless possibilities. I rented a book earlier this summer. I didn't read a single page of it, and it was 3 days late, but I got it back. So go check out the library. It's a nice place. It's a peace and quiet, some nostalgia. You can go check out the library. They got all sorts of events, so go over there and do that. We got the Dakota Music Crawl 2025, and the one and only Marlo Anderson with the announcement.
Thank you, Jordan. Hello, 1 Million Cuppers. I'm 2 weeks free on caffeine. I'm not sure if I like that or not, but no. I'm still drinking decaf, so it hasn't affected your bottom line at all, Joe, just so you know. I know. I try really, really hard. So anyway, ignore the date. I did send the new slide late last night. I know that's not the, hopefully next week we'll have the right slide, but it is September 28th, not the 18th. So Sunday, September 28th. You will want to attend this. This is the Dakota Music Crawl. We are turning Mandan into Music City, USA for a day. So we have a bunch of locations in downtown Mandan that will have music. It's also National Drink Beer Day. There's a theme to the National Day thing today around here. I was impressed with Rarebit, by the way. Almost nobody says that right. It's always rabbit. So I was impressed. So anyway, see, you and I should never have a microphone, right? Yeah, I'm impressed by that. Anyway, so downtown Mandan on the 28th, we will have a barbecue dinner afterward, just drink beer day, so it means that your ticket also gets you beer and possibly some bourbon at all the different places that will be serving as well. Afterwards is the barbecue back in the park. We're also inducting 4 people into the Music Hall of Fame that day. The Blenders, Chuck Suki, Richard Torrance, and Skitch Henderson. And I've heard lots of rumors that Chuck and Richard are going to get together to play that night. So you will want to be there. It's going to be an amazing event. And if you have questions, Mark's in the back. He's the guy putting it all together. So, so anyway, please show up. Tickets are available right now. Just do a Dakota Music Crawl on Eventbrite. Get your tickets. You've already missed the early bird, but we still have tickets left. So please get on there and enjoy the day.
All right. Thank you, Marlo. Go check out the Music Crawl. What else do we got? The end of summer party. Music, drinks, and networking.
Hello, Michael Fink, Silicon Plains. This is our annual parking lot party. This year they called it the end of summer party. It is on the 11th of September from 4 to 6. If you know us, the after party starts immediately after. And we will have music, drinks, and networking fun for all. I think the next slide is mine as well, so stop on out if you get a chance. Okay, our monthly AI seminar was actually last week, but if you click this QR code, you can get on the list for all of our monthly AI seminars. You can watch replays, including this one. In this one, fantastic. If you didn't get a chance to see it, check out the replay. We actually showed you how to quickly and easily build a Copilot AI agent to do things like, in this case, we use it for RFP bids. It dropped the time that it takes us to do an RFP from 10 hours to about an hour. So if you're a nonprofit doing fundraising requests, or you have big admin projects or RFPs or anything like that that you need to do, this is a must-see. So thank you.
All right. Make sure to scan the QR codes. They made them large enough so you guys can't miss them. What else do we got? Oh my goodness. What could this possibly be? All right, this is my announcement, actually. We got a comedy show coming up at the Bell Mayhews Auditorium, okay? Just about a block and a half that way. One of the most historic venues Bismarck has to offer. That's on Saturday, September 13th, doors at 7, show at 8. You're going to want to hit that QR code. Get your phones out, people. Follow No Brains, No Headache, and scan the QR code. We're a premier comedy brand, podcasting and comedy shows, and we're going to fly in John Kennedy all the way from New York City, okay? Now, the last time we had a show at the Bell Mayhews, the headliner just got accepted as the newest cast member of Saturday Night Live. Okay, so magic happens at these shows, people. I don't know what it is, but we got John Kennedy from New York City, David Standel from Fargo, Samson Hurley and Matt Cleary here from Bismarck, and yours truly will be hosting. So there's not a bad seat in the house. Check out the QR code. Once again, Saturday, September 13th at 8 p.m. I think we all deserve a laugh, so you guys should go check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a great time, so hopefully you can join us. Does anybody else have any community announcements before I hand the microphone off? I'm going to take that as a stern no. If you do have a community announcement, reach out to somebody, one of the organizing members, or you can send it to the email. Clearly, we're not going to get your slide up in time if your name's Marlo, but we're going to try our best. And you can do a community announcement anytime you want, so we'd be happy to put that up on our slideshow. But the main reason we're here today, why did we all gather here, is because we want to hear from our presenter today. So like I said, think of those questions, and we're going to hear from her in a second. So why don't we give a nice, warm 1 million cups welcome to our presenter today, Shrylle Mikkonen, everybody. Did I do it right? You nailed it.
Good. It's nice to be back here. I kind of took the summer off and hung out with my kiddo at home, so it's nice to be back into the school year rhythm of things. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I do. So for those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm Shrylle Mikkonen. I am the founder of Align LifeWorks, Life and Leadership Coaching. I'm excited to tell you a little bit about myself and my business here today. Do I press the button to... Okay, there we go. All right, so no matter what the industry has been, leadership has always been a passion of mine, something that always stood out to me no matter what the job was. For the last 15 years, I've trained, led, and managed different organizations from frontline roles all the way to senior operational management. And over the years, I found that what lit me up wasn't the numbers and not even the operation itself, but it was developing people. And my favorite part about that is watching people gain confidence, step into their true potential, and really become somebody who wants to make an impact and somebody who people want to follow. After nearly a decade in my most recent management role, I was like, I want to do more of that. So I left my corporate position and took the leap, and Align LifeWorks was born. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. My mission is to equip people who are high-achieving leaders to reach their full potential and give them the confidence to lead with integrity. It's a huge piece for me is integrity. And I want to see them build their teams where both people and businesses can thrive together to create success and enhance their community and their locations. And what sets me and Align LifeWorks apart is my focus on self-leadership. Now, I'm sure you've all heard that before you can lead others, you have to lead yourself first, right? Hopefully you've heard that. What that means to me and what that means to Align Life Works is cultivating awareness all throughout the day. How am I showing up? How am I addressing these situations with my staff and my employees? And it's about making anchored decisions where your values are really clear. When you have clear values, you're not second guessing and you're leading with that confidence and that integrity. So I firmly believe that when leaders have the ability to lead themselves this way, all of their teams, that's where they start to naturally follow, and that's where impact is born. Oh yeah, I did it. So too often, the problem is that people excel at their jobs, and then they're promoted, but nobody taught them how to lead people. How many of you in this room have been or maybe are currently in a leadership position? A handful of you, okay, great. Now, how many of you had actual formal training before you stepped into that role, leadership training? About a third of you, okay? I didn't have formal leadership training when I stepped into my first leadership opportunity. Nobody handed me a manual saying, here's how you have difficult conversations. This is how you impact a culture. And how about managing a business when human emotions are involved? Nobody gives you a manual for that. So suddenly, we have all these leaders who are responsible for a team, yet they lack the tools and the confidence to bring out the best in others and do what they're supposed to do, which is drive results. This creates disorganization, disengagement, and a ton of missed opportunities. So I've worked with some of these leaders over the years, and I see them feeling overwhelmed. They're second-guessing their decisions, or even worse, they're running on false confidence, thinking, I got this promotion, I know what I'm doing, and they're trying to figure it out as they go along. And without the right skills, that becomes exhausting, not only for the other leaders on the team, but for the entire staff. If you've ever worked in a position with a leader that doesn't know how to lead, it's draining, and you don't want to be there. So this is where leadership development and coaching can become so powerful. I've shown leaders the value of coaching in the moment and how to create a positive work culture where people want to show up, and we do that through different forms of appreciation, right? If you're willing to take the time to invest in your people, they're going to feel valued, and that makes a world of difference in the leadership roles. The difference that you're going to see is phenomenal. Instead of just doing that job that they were once good at, they're actually taking the lead and leading with intention rather than reacting under pressure, which is what a lot of new leaders or inexperienced leaders do. So even if somebody is a top performer, managing people requires an entirely different skill set. And like I said before you can lead others, you have to lead yourself first. When this foundation is missing, the ripple effects are huge. We see things like teams checking out, engagement drops, turnover rises, collaboration is breaking down, and the future leaders aren't being developed because the turnover is so rampant. It's an endless cycle. That's one of the things that pulled me to leave my last corporate position. The turnover was so rampant, and as much as we have that struggle here in Bismarck, it also has to do with the leadership within the companies that you're a part of. So what we see once that happens, we see burnout, we see quiet quitting, we see toxic cultures that start to drain both the people and the profits for the organization. So you might recognize this, but poor leadership is expensive. It takes 1.5 to 2 times that person's salary to replace them. And if you multiply that across an entire organization or business, that is a hefty bill at the end of the day. The reality is, self-leadership, influence, and servant leadership aren't nice-to-haves. they're directly tied to results. And in fact, Gallup points out that 70% of management is directly tied, of engagement is directly tied to the managers. Have any of you heard that statistic before? Maybe not, but I bet you heard this. People leave bad bosses, not bad jobs. Right? We've all heard that. People leave bad bosses, not bad jobs. So when leaders lack training, they not only miss opportunities for themselves, but the organizations pay the price. But leadership isn't a title, it's a skill. And skills can be learned, practiced, and mastered, especially when you have the right guidance, mentoring, or coach. I've coached leaders who were really unsure about leading people. They avoided direct conversations. They resisted coaching in the moment because they feared a reaction or pushback, or they simply didn't know how to coach people. But once I was able to teach them that people actually want feedback, people want to know where they're exceeding, and people want to know where they're falling short and where they're failing, these same leaders stepped into that confidence and became more inspiring. When that shift happens, we start to see things like the morale within the company raising, we see collaboration strengthening, and we see the whole team feeling like they're part of something that's worth showing up for. At one of the companies that I worked for, performance and turnover were some of the major challenges, but by rebuilding the trust and reshaping the culture, not only did we improve some of the KPIs, but we created a place where people wanted to stay and grow. They were stepping into intentional leadership, and it transformed both the results and the relationships from the staff all the way to your customers. And when you got happy customers, you got happy profits. Theoretically, that's how it works, right? The most successful teams are the ones where people feel safe to speak up, to share ideas, to make mistakes even. That kind of environment doesn't just happen though, that kind of environment is built. And leaders aren't taught how to build an environment like that. Let's say an employee or a staff member comes to you and they bring you a problem. Chances are you'll be like, okay, or yeah, I'll take care of that. But what if instead you said, wow, I'm so impressed that you care enough to bring that to my attention. What solutions do you have to offer? When you start to ask questions like that to your staff members and your team, you start to create a company that is solution-oriented, they have ownership, and that becomes more engaged teams. Little tiny changes and tweaks like that, but again, nobody's teaching you how to do that. That's what coaching does. It accelerates leadership development by building confidence, building accountability, and equipping leaders with the practical tools that most corporate settings don't provide. So when we have leaders that stop running on autopilot and they become intentional about how they show up every day, your teams transform, and it always starts up at the top. So let's see here. I've got the data to back it up, how effective coaching is. Companies see an 85% increase in confidence and engagement after they've invested in coaching. 92% of organizations report better leadership and management effectiveness after coaching. And both the PwC and the International Coaching Federation found an average of 7 times the return on investment. 7 times return the investment. So, investing in coaching isn't just about helping one single leader. The ripple effects are going to show up in performance, in stronger teams, in stronger engagements, and in healthier organizations overall. That's going to result in your profits. So, how do I actually help you? You've heard a couple of the examples that I've used hands-on with some of my clients. But with 15 years of management and leadership experience and now coaching as well, I use that to support both individual leaders and organizations. I've worked one-on-one with people who want to strengthen their leadership skills, and I'm really now trying to aim with organizations who want to invest and inspire their people. Every program is tailored to the individual that I'm working with. We start with some of your goals and uncover the gaps and try and figure out what's missing and where the resolution can be, and then build strategies to help you get real results. So some of the most common problems that I solve, and of course it's not limited to this as it's tailored, but some of the most common ones you're going to see, self-leadership development, communication, that's one of my favorites, conflict and tough conversations. That's one of the hardest parts about leading people, is having the confidence and the courage to mean what you say and say what you mean and have direct conversations with your employees, and people really struggle with that in the leadership spot. We get into the people-pleasing roles, and we don't want to step on toes, and we want happy teams, so we don't want to say the wrong thing, but there's a right way to do that, and that comes with confidence and leadership. Team engagement and culture, and then succession and legacy planning. If you have a whole company that has people who have been with the company for 10 years, you can walk away feeling good about what you've left behind. But if you have crazy turnover, right? So succession and legacy planning as well. So of course, like I said, these are some of the most popular topics, but I've got other things that I like to focus on as well. So how does it actually look like if you hire a coach and work with one? So I have a 90-day accelerated coaching program where I work primarily with individuals in that scope, where we're one-on-one. Again, it's tailored. What are your gaps? What are your goals? You have accountability. You have somebody that you're showing up for every single week who's asking you about where you're headed and what you've accomplished. Something a little more interactive and high energy, keynote speaking, hands-on workshops where we're actually doing little group activities and coaching lessons. And then tailored leadership programs. That's going to be more for the organizational scope. It goes anywhere from 90 days, 6 months to a year and beyond, depending on your goals. And then strategy sessions. That's more of a one-time intensive for clarity and leadership focus. So, as a first-time business owner, I am certainly not without my challenges. Some of the things that I'm looking for guidance from you are scaling and visibility. Although I have a really strong framework and services, building a consistent pipeline of the right fit clients has proved to be a challenge for me. So I'd love to hear what what suggestions and strategies you guys have to help me grow in that visibility in this market. The other thing is breaking into organizations. So most of my traction thus far has been with individuals, but I really want to expand into organizational clients. So my question for you is, how do I get in front of the right decision-making people, the right HR people, the right leadership executives? And if you know anybody or are somebody, please come and find me and speak to me, and I'd love to visit with you. I always offer a free consultation so that we can get to know each other and make sure we're a good fit, because I want to be a good fit for you, but also you be a good fit for me. So, right now, my business is just me, but my vision is so much bigger than that. I want Align Life Works to create jobs in the community, to impact people globally, and train other leaders in my framework so that we can expand the reach of leadership. My goal is to build something that really lasts, that includes a legacy of leaders, where we offer self-leadership, transformation of workplaces, and really strengthen communities overall. For me, it's not just a business, it's about creating impact. So, at the end of the day, leadership shapes everything that we do. It's either going to be your greatest asset or your greatest expense. And the difference comes down to how your leaders show up every day. And as I said in the beginning, my mission is to help leaders step into their full potential with confidence and integrity. And like Gandhi says, be the change So my vision is to create that ripple effect where we can do exactly that. So, thank you. That's what I've got for you.
All right, time for some Q&A. If you guys got any questions, Ross is going to be here on the mic mug. Anybody streaming online, feel free to pop a question in the comments, and the amazing tech team will be sure to give that to us up here. But great job.
Thank you.
I just got to say, as a fellow business owner myself, don't worry. We're all clueless together, okay? We have no idea what we're doing. First question.
Not a question, but an answer to one of your questions. There's a group in Bismarck called the Central Dakota Human Resources Association, CDHRA, that is HR leaders. And if they meet monthly, it's been a long time since I've been a member, but that might be a place where you could make multiple connections with HR leaders in the area and have an opportunity to talk about what you're doing and see if you might be able to find some clients.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I have not heard of that organization before, so I appreciate that.
All right, good morning. Piggyback off of Chris's comment, I am a member of CDHRA. Good organization. They do monthly presentations. So if you can reach out to them and develop a 45-minute, 50-minute presentation of some skill that an HR leader could use, that would get you some exposure. Having, my work, I work with workforce training in that same industry, same type clients. I would recommend going up, and this year it happens to be in Bismarck. It's usually Bismarck or up in Grand Forks, the SHRM conference. That's a good one to visit because you're going to get a wide swath of HR and other industry leaders that are looking for clients or looking for consultants and other people, insurance, things like that. So I would keep those in mind, but I think you might want to consider what areas you want to focus in, because there are going to be other types of trade shows that you can go and visit. If you want to get involved with, let's say, medical, the hospital association has an annual conference that'll get you in front of people. So I would just do a simple Google search for North Dakota annual conferences, and you'll see a whole plethora of groups that will have specialized conferences for their members. Trade shows are always good.
Okay, awesome. Also a great suggestion. Thank you.
So real quick, you said you quit your corporate job and then you started this. How long have you been in your current role?
I left in 23, so like 2.5 years. I took a
Okay.
little sabbatical for a few months, so maybe closer to 2 years.
Yeah, those few months sabbaticals are awesome, aren't they?
Yeah, it was.
Hey, Shrylle. So just again to go off what they're saying, in my previous role, I worked a lot with high school kids and high school coaches in athletics, and there's a huge need from a high school kid, female, male standpoint, they get put into these captain roles, and they have no idea how to lead. And the coaches are frustrated because, why aren't you leading your team? Well, you're asking a 16, 17-year-old kid, and most of us adults are trying to figure out clearly, and so they have no clue. So I would say maybe reach out to some of the athletic directors, see if there's anything in the budget. Each coach can offer up one athlete, 2 athletes, and say, hey, spend some time with Shrylle, or you come speak to our team, or something like that. But there's a need for it from the athletic standpoint in high schools.
Awesome. Absolutely an angle that I wouldn't have thought of, so thank you for that.
Great presentation. Okay, well, I have a question about like the first appointment, because when you meet with a leader or a potential leader, they may be strong in certain areas and they may have blind spots in others. So how do you begin that relationship to identify the areas to work on?
Awesome question. So first of all, if somebody is coming to me saying, I want to grow and I want to do better, chances are they have a little bit of enough self-awareness to know at least one of their gaps. And once we can dig into that and start there, then other things are going to start to unfold in our work together through asking the right questions. That's a huge part of coaching, is asking some of the right questions to figure out, okay, you're excelling here, give me some examples. And even in that example, I may be able to pick apart and analyze, like, okay, well, what about this? How are you approaching this situation? And since it changes from industry to industry, just asking the right questions and diving in is gonna help me figure that out.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, because of your answer, I have another question. Okay, so so you have your time together. So at the end of like a session, is there homework? Are there agreed upon next steps? And is there like some type of accountability as well?
Yes. So after I met with the client, we have our one-on-one session, and then I give them a day or two, and I send a nice little recap email. And 9 times out of 10, there's an assignment to whether it's a specific goal or something that they're trying to accomplish or something they want to do to stretch outside themselves or so yes, there's always some kind of goal. But also there's been times in a 3-month, 6-month session where the client is feeling really overwhelmed and we have to pull back a little bit and give them a little bit time to reset, so there isn't any accountability during that little grace period. So that's really how tailored the sessions are. But for the most part, yes, these people are leaders who want accountability, they want assignments, they want to-dos. Sometimes it's worksheets that I've provided, and sometimes it's them stepping out and accomplishing goals on their own. And then, of course, me checking in, being like, how did it go? Did you do X, Y, Z? And texting them throughout the week to offer that personal accountability.
This time I'll ask a question.
Sounds good.
So leadership consultants, life consultants, they're kind of popping out of the woodwork. So a lot of people transitioning out of the workforce. What is your leadership journey? What do you bring that might give your business a competitive advantage or difference compared to another consultant? So what, you said you spent 15 years, I believe you said, in corporate America. I've worked in corporate America. It's no fun. But what from those experiences makes you a unique person to reach out versus another one who might be in the same industry?
Sure, great question. So my leadership training specifically, I mean, it goes all the way back to high school. I was in Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership, or some of the YBA Youth Business Association. So leadership is in my blood. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs, leadership. And then in my corporate jobs, the people that I trained under were people who had been in the industry for 40 plus years, right? They were experienced leaders, they were passionate leaders, and they really invested time in me as a leader. I think of one of the leaders that I had back in Wisconsin. He was just really knowledgeable and gave me a great scope of seeing the whole picture of things rather than tunnel vision. And then the next leader was phenomenal and more about leadership and developing a team and culture and communication. And then aside from that, I have leadership certifications. I've gotten 2 different leadership certifications on my own and worked with a couple different leadership coaches privately for myself, because I'm a nerd about the growth thing. So those are a couple different things that I feel like set me apart from any other old leader.
Got some great suggestions and questions so far, so keep them coming, but I got one for you. And I just want to preface this with, I'm not playing devil's advocate, I'm just curious. One of the slides said that you saw an 85% increase in confidence. How do you measure confidence?
Good question. So that's not my personal result. I found it on the Googs. But what I think that comes from is just a self-assessment, right? If I asked you today, and I do this with my clients too, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you feeling? We work together, you have a great time, and then 12 weeks from now, how good are you feeling? So if I had to guess, that's how they're measuring, just based on their personal results. Because, right, how else do you do that? It's technically, and that was something that I struggled with in the beginning, is not how do we sell intangible results, right? When it comes to confidence, there is no specific number or tangible thing. But when you ask you personally, how are you feeling now compared to 10 minutes ago, we can kind of gauge that ourselves.
And then you said something about false confidence. How do you feel about the statement, fake it till you make it?
Oh, that's such a great question. Because
that's my
I
job.
absolutely believe you're doing well. I think fake it till you make it is really important, but I also said the word integrity 15 times in that presentation. So I think if you can be authentic with who you are and come from a place of integrity, that sometimes you gotta, I was not confident when I stood up to that stage. I was nervous, I'm sweating bullets, but maybe some of you knew that, maybe some of you didn't, right? To me, that's a version of fake it till you make it. I got up there, I was being authentic, I was speaking from my heart, I was speaking from integrity, and I was kind of faking it, and I think I kind of made it. So there's my answer to that.
Well, we're still up here. Nobody's collapsed yet, so that's huge. You said something at the beginning about dealing with emotions. So when you go into an organization or meet with a leader, you know, you're dealing with modern day emotions, which I think is ever evolving, especially in this day and age with mental health. How do you handle the emotion of your clients and trying to balance that with getting progress with emotion?
You exactly said the word in there, and it is a balance. It's a balance between having empathy and understanding for where the client is and also challenging them outside of that comfort zone, right? And I am not a medical professional, so if it is a really mental health type of crisis, I'm going to encourage them to seek a professional because that's not my realm. I'm here to look forward and help you accomplish goals. But it really is a balance. And in the workplace, when it comes to managing emotions, again, you still have to have empathy and understanding. Your employees are people, right? But also they're there to do a job. So there's kind of an art of finding the balance between those two things of understanding where they're at and understanding where we need to be as a team. So.
Hey, me again. So, I love success stories. And so when I say, I would love to hear like one or two success stories that come to the front of your mind that you're most proud about.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, well, the first one that comes to mind is one of my clients. She was a partner in a firm, a partner in an accounting firm, and the firm dissolved, and so she went back into an employee type of role, and it was still kind of a leadership position, but she was stuck. She was not feeling fulfilled. She was like, I'm worth so much more than this, right? She was feeling undervalued, underappreciated, and after we worked together, she ended up starting her own business. Within 3 months, she had her own office, she's got clients, she's got contracts, and completely replaced, I don't know if she entirely replaced her income, but she's feeling successful and thriving in her job. And to me, that's a success story. Somebody who was in the mud and stuck and miserable and was able to come out from underneath that and be like, I can do this, I have the confidence, I can start my own business, right? And of course, that's not always the answer. I'm not here to tell every person in corporate America to quit your job and start your own business, because that's not the right journey for everybody. But and then one of the other stories, there was this gal who was really, she's like, I want to exude confidence, I want to exude positivity, and I'm just in a rut. She had lost a child, lost a relationship, moved state, she moved in with her parents. She was just early 30s, just feeling pretty crummy. And we connected by the grace of whatever you believe in. And she set some goals to go back to college, to buy a house, to get her promotion, and to have a healthier relationship with the family that she was living with. So we worked on managing her emotions and her communication and her happiness, because you can't control the people that you live with, right? She was living with alcoholics. It was just, I'm like piling all these things on, right? And she's like, you changed my life. She's like, you changed my life at a time that I really, really needed it. And those are the kinds of things that are really impactful for me, right? To hear somebody say that. And she went to college, she got her degree, she got a promotion, and she just closed on her house 2 months ago. So that's pretty cool.
It's amazing. Ross,
I got a question.
go ahead.
So when you were going through your presentation, you talked about during your consultation phase, trying to determine the right fit for not only the customer but for you. Could you talk through that process a little bit more in detail?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? When you meet somebody, I can tell whether you like the person or not, right? And it's not always about likability, but if we're gonna have, coaching is a very personal relationship, and it's also a very professional relationship. So what I'm looking for is, A, are we connecting, right? Are we vibing? But also, are you open to learning? Are you open to asking questions? Are you open to accountability? Are you willing to challenge yourself a little bit and step outside your comfort zone, or are you full of excuses? Oh, I'm here because of this, I'm here because of this, I'm here because of this. It's like, okay, some of those things might be true, but also you're here because you're here. So those are some of the questions that I dig into right away and can determine pretty quickly if there's somebody who's going to be a good fit and actually grow. I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste mine, right? So good question, thank you.
Yeah, I think accountability is huge no matter what you're doing in life, especially as a country. Maybe we could all take some accountability and we'd probably be in a better spot than we are now.
Accountability, right? I have life coaches myself because, yes, I'm the coach, but I'm not the master, and I need somebody to help me keep me on track with my goals too. And so I don't just walk the walk, walk the talk. I do it too, is what I'm trying to say.
So a question about your workload. You said that you have 90-day sessions of like a tailored program. Are you able to take on multiple clients at once, or do you try to keep a certain number to that, or how does that work?
Yes, I try to keep it to a certain number, but I definitely take more than one client at a time, right? I mean, right now my client sessions are about an hour and a half, and we meet once a week. And then after the first 90 days, we can do another 90-day intensive, but oftentimes what we'll do is step 2, if we want to continue working together, stretch it to an every other week thing, where we still have another 12 sessions, but it's spread over 12 weeks. So I have multiple clients because it's only an hour and a half at a time. And then, of course, the follow-up work and the accountability. But my threshold is probably, I mean, when it comes to organizations, that'll be a little bit different. But a full book looks about like 20 to 30 individuals for me.
That's awesome. Well, the time has flown by, so thank you all for being here today and asking the questions and the comments. And every week we have the same theme. I'm sure you're familiar with our last question. So Ross, why don't you take it away?
Thanks again for your presentation. Like you said, every week, what we always want to find out is what can we as the 1 Million Cups community do to help you to succeed?
Thank you for the question. Thank you guys for being here. I mean, I kind of already said it in my presentation. If you're somebody who's looking for leadership or you know somebody who wants to grow, whether it's in your workplace or somebody personally, right? I started with a very personal life coaching aspect, and leadership is just a part of passion, so I've branched out to both. If you know somebody who wants to grow, let's have a conversation. You're never set in stone by having a conversation, and sometimes it's uplifting just to meet with somebody and talk about goals, so please send people my way. I hope that the places that you mentioned, those were great suggestions, so thank you, gentlemen, all 3 of you, for those suggestions. I think that's kind of what I need from you guys, is keep an ear out for me.
All right, let's hear it one more time for Shrylle. All right, and we got some upcoming events here at 1 Million Cups every Wednesday at the same time, same place for the foreseeable future. September 10th, we have Bella Health and Wellness with Amy Chang, I believe. And then September 17th, we have Bismarck Riverfront Development. And the following week, it is a production company with Danielle. So make sure you come check that out. We'd be happy to see you again. If you guys don't mind, next slide for me. If you or somebody you know wants to present, learn more, get more involved, you can check out the QR codes on Facebook, LinkedIn, website, all of the above. That's how you can follow us. We also have the stream on YouTube now, so thank you to everybody who joined us on YouTube today. And that should be it for this week. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.